Welcome to another episode of Costa Women TV.
My name is Ali Meehan.
And I'm Cristina.
And together, we're going to make it happen. Hello and welcome to Costa Women TV. And this time, Angela and I have put together a very inspirational theme. My first interview is with Zoe Parsons, and Zoe's story is a very inspirational one because she went from being in an extremely abusive relationship, and she suffered both physical, sexual, and emotional abuse, to helping others heal and recover from abuse themselves. She qualified as a relationship coach, and now she has a self-love after abuse practice, which you're going to hear about now. Hello, Zoe, and welcome
Hi.
to Costa Women TV.
Thank you for having me. Nice to be here.
Thank you for joining us today. So, as mentioned in the introduction, you do have a very inspirational story. So I wondered if you mind sharing highlights from it for us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you've already said, I was in an abusive relationship, and I was in that relationship for 6 years. I was married, I had a child with him. And I think probably the thing that took me a long time to realize while I was in that relationship is I actually didn't realize it was abusive. And the abuse started very gradually. It started with the emotional abuse, the manipulation, the control, the jealousy, wanting to know for instance, my Facebook passwords. To after I had my daughter, to where the abuse escalated to physical violence. And he would do things such as pinching me, pulling my hair, putting me in a headlock. And I would say to him, but you've just hurt me. Why do you do that? And he'd be like, I've done nothing. Where's the bruise? I haven't hurt you. And when you're confronted with someone who is categorically denying that they've done something that you know they've done, the term for it is gaslighting, but it puts you in a state of confusion because you end up reaching a place where you don't actually trust your own reality. So I would go to myself, oh yeah, he didn't leave a bruise. Maybe he didn't hurt me. And then I'd be like, but my arm's hurting. And you get into this internal dialogue where you're trying to convince yourself of something that you know happened, but you think it didn't happen. And this is kind of how the relationship sort of evolved until eventually he was pretty much raping me on a daily basis. And it just reached a point where I remember there was an incident in front of my daughter. She was like 2.5 at the time, where he was trying to strangle me and she was on the bed watching. And I thought, you know what, I can't do this. She deserves better. And although by that point, I actually felt that I deserved everything he did to me. And I'd even accepted that at some point he'd probably kill me. And I actually was okay with that, which is a really shocking place to be, but it is where you get to. And so I thought, okay, fine, I need to get out of this. So it took me about a year or so to get out of that relationship. And then after being out of it, he stalked me for 6 months until it ended with him actually breaking into my home and attacking me. He headbutted me and I had to go to hospital and have 12 stitches in my face from where he'd cracked open my forehead. And at that point, he got arrested. And so he's actually in prison now for what he did to me. So in total, he got sentenced to 11.5 years. And that was for ABH, stalking and harassment and rape. So that was coming up about 4.5, 5 years ago now. That all happened. And as a result of what I went through, obviously I had to do my own healing journey. But then I gradually started talking about my experience, and I had so many people contact me, thanking me for sharing what I'd went through and how they said that it gave them hope, I just thought, how can I do more of this? So I thought, I'm going to train. So I got qualified as a life coach and counselor, set up my own practice, which is called Self-Love After Abuse, because in my experience from going through that journey and also from where I help people, I find that self-love is key, because it's one of the things that the areas that gets totally broken and destroyed and beaten down by, that person when you're in that relationship.
Yeah, well, you're an incredibly brave woman. Well done for getting out of the relationship.
Thanks.
Obviously, at the moment we've recorded this, we're in the lockdown. So I know that there are ladies who are living with abusers. How could they handle it during the lockdown?
So I mean, obviously, if you're in that situation now, the emotions and everything is going to be running a lot higher than normal. The perpetrator is going to feel that they have absolute control and that they can get away with whatever it is they're doing. So my first tip is, if you feel the abuse is escalating, then reach out for help. There is help available. So for instance, in the Andalusia area, if you go to a pharmacy, you can ask for face mask 19, and they will take you and they will put you in touch with the support systems that are in place here to help you. So you can get help. And obviously, going to a pharmacy, it's something we're allowed to do. It's something that maybe your abuser wouldn't question, because obviously you can say that you need to go out for personal products, and they're not necessarily going to want to buy something like that. So, it is a good place to go and get help. So I think that's the first thing to remember, is that you're not alone and help is out there. But obviously, I also think that a lot of the time when you're living with an abusive person, you are used to managing them. So it's kind of continuing to do that whole managing. And I think the main thing you need to remember is, when they're trying to press your buttons, is to respond to them, but don't react. Because ultimately they are looking for an emotional response from you. So they want you to get angry, they want you to cry, they want you to basically have that burst of emotion, because that's what they feed off, that's what they like, that's what they enjoy. And they can then also use that to turn the tables on you and make it seem that, well, actually it's your fault because you're the one that's shouting, or maybe you've hit them or thrown something at them, you see, which obviously this is you just reacting to the emotional abuse and the pressure of the situation. So it's just saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to respond. So you're going to give yes, no answers. You're going to be calm as possible. And I know that this is extremely difficult to do, but it is one way that you can manage that situation slightly. And the other thing that I would say is, obviously at the moment we're living in a time where a lot of things are out of our control, and that can cause a lot of anxiety. So use this time, if possible, to start making a safety plan. Start thinking about what your life would look like 6 months from now when lockdown is lifted. So get yourself a secure app, something that they can't access, and start researching what is involved in what you need to do, what is out there that's available for you, maybe what you need to do to start saving money, all these types of things. I mean, I wrote a blog a few weeks ago, which is on my website, which we can probably share the links afterwards. And here I give like a list of tips and things that someone can do if they're currently in this situation. And there's also a link on there on how you can make a safety plan. Because the thing is, the statistics tell us that when you go to leave an abusive relationship, this is the most dangerous time. And that was certainly true in my case. And I didn't know about safety plans. My thing was, oh, I'm getting a divorce, and he wouldn't go, and it escalated, and I ended up having to call the police to have him removed. And then the worst of the violence happened to me 6 months after I left. So you do have to be really careful when you're planning this. You have to do it quietly and in secret, and make sure you're doing it where they can't find out.
Yeah. Wow, a lot to think about.
Definitely.
Would you have any particular top tips for improving our self-love, particularly at the moment where we are stuck, within our own environments and not able to go out and connect with other people?
Yeah, definitely. I think probably my first one, which is applicable for anyone, whether you've been in an abusive relationship or not, is to know that self-love is not selfish. I think sometimes we think that it's selfish to put ourselves first. It's selfish to take that hour to watch our favorite program. It's selfish to go and get our nails done because, maybe we're busy moms. There's just so many other things trying to pull our attention away. And we just think, oh, I can't dedicate that 1 hour to myself. And essentially, it's not selfish, because if you look at it this way, you can't give to other people if you yourself are emotionally drained and you have nothing there. So you see, by doing this self-love for ourselves, what it's doing is you're actually replenishing yourself so you're able to give more. So it's actually an act of love for your family and your friends, but also for yourself. So definitely don't think that it's being selfish, because it's not. And the other thing I think is probably really important is learn to love yourself by saying no to others. And I know, especially if you've come from an abusive relationship, and even if you haven't, I think we all sometimes get brought up with a tendency to people please. We find it hard to say no. We accept stuff that we don't really want to do, and then we feel guilty, or we feel pressured, or we feel resentful when we go ahead and do it. And I think it's just learning that it's actually okay to say no to things. And if someone reacts badly to you saying no, then they're actually not really a true friend. And then maybe you would need to evaluate whether or not they actually deserve to be in your life. And then the other top tip, I think, would be work on your self-trust, because I know, especially when you've come from an abusive relationship, you don't trust yourself. You don't really understand. Your reality becomes distorted, so things become difficult. And even maybe before you've been in an abusive relationship, I mean, we hear the phrase trust your gut, and half the time we see things and we think that's a bit strange, but then we make an excuse and we dismiss it, and we accept that, oh, maybe they're just like that because they're stressed or they're busy or whatever. But I think generally when we see these things, which I would call red flags, is we need to trust our instinct and trust ourselves. So going forward, if you're looking to date again, then obviously learn to trust yourself is really important. Listen to yourself and not look to dismiss yourself. And I think sometimes when we think about self-love, we can think of it as face masks and bubble baths and things like that. But it is much more than that. It's more about being a best friend to yourself, being kind to yourself and showing love to yourself. And I think if you look at yourself and talk to yourself and treat yourself as you would someone you love and care for, your friend, then you're going to be on the right path to showing yourself love.
Well, thank you, Zoe, for joining me on Costa Women TV today. And
Thanks for having me.
Look forward to meeting you in person after lockdown.
Definitely.
Thanks, Zoe. Bye.
Bye.
This month, we decided to include the kids in our episode, so here are their creations. We will announce the winner and prize at the end. Well done to everyone and enjoy! next guest is Marjan from Marjan Massage. Indeed, she is an amazing massage therapist. Hi and welcome, Marjan, from another side of Malaga.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm feeling bright and radiant, and this is why I'm wearing my yellow today to bring some sunshine to our viewers. But how are you? I am aware that massages wasn't actually happening. Obviously, there was no contact during lockdown. But before we go there, can you share with us how you got into doing massages in the first place?
Yes, Angel. What happened in 2006? We had the bank crisis, you remember? And I was working at a real estate agent, but I've always had interest in massages and helping people. So I've always done courses as a hobby. And then with the bank crisis, my boss stopped paying me. So I kind of automatically started to earn some money extra with massages, and before I knew it, I started to build up a clientele, and that's how I got into massages, and it's been great. I love it, you know. So yeah, really happy.
So we can truly tell that a crisis does not stop Marjan, right?
It doesn't. It really doesn't. It's a challenge, you know.
We've actually chosen you today for this program because both Ellie and myself feel that even though contact was not permitted over lockdown, you still managed to create something to make Marjan Massage happen. Share with our audience what you've magnificently been able to create, even though it was very, very scary and maybe tricky for you.
Yes, thank you, Angel. It was a bit of a challenge. When we first went into lockdown, I was just thinking, what now? And then I decided to set up a YouTube channel, which was great fun. Also to help the people who were sitting, you know, at home and maybe they could help themselves or their family. I thought it was a great idea. It was fun to do as well. And so when I sent a mail shot to my clients to inform them about this YouTube channel, I got a response from the School of Natural Therapies. And she said, listen, can I send your information to all my students so maybe they can learn how to do the massages? And she asked me if I was open for one-to-one online, tutoring, which I am a teacher. So I said, great, you see, from one thing rolled out another thing. And it's been excellent for me to have now different ways of, expressing my work online and offline.
That is honestly very inspiring. What I remember, Marjan, from myself is that I saw this video, I think in the beginning of your YouTube channel, and it was about giving yourself a massage. And I said, this is really interesting, especially at the moment where we were all tensing up and feeling so much fear, especially in the beginning, until we got used to, this pattern. And I actually tried to give myself a foot massage, and I was surprised how powerful it was. Because obviously you taught us where to press, right? And I have never done this before, and I got so excited. So I'm really, really happy for you that not only did you get followers, but also you have been called to step up and maybe take your gift to the next level. That is so beautiful to share.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very proud. And foot reflexology is a fantastic therapy because with the manipulation of the feet, you can solve all kinds of problems.
That is amazing. And with feet, it's true. I really like that, and I would love to learn more. So perhaps, would you suggest anything, maybe a tip with our viewers, if they're feeling really tense at the moment, or maybe they're having some anxiety, which particular video to look out for on your YouTube channel, perhaps a particular part of the body or anything?
You know, what's a really good one to watch? And I do like really short videos, but you can, make it as long as you want. The Indian head massage, which is normally the treatment is about 20-25 minutes. And I show how to move the skull, and it's great, because it's so relaxing. There's a lot of tension in the skull, and because of so many people being so stressed, then this stops the blood circulation, and it makes your hair fall out. So it's really important to get this moving, and then I show it on the YouTube channel. Then the face, wipe these wrinkles away. There's all these stress points all over the face and over the head. So it really is a great one to watch, and you can do it to your husband, your family, and it will help them have very good reactions of people who've tried it out.
So I will definitely try this out. And what I love, Marjan, whilst you're talking is I'm realizing that you're not minding sharing your skills. There might be some people saying, but am I going to give all my tips away and then they don't need to come for a massage? I think you've seen it from a different light. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we're moving to a society where the strength is community, helping each other. This is also helping each other. But of course, I mean, it's better to come to me for a massage because I know what I'm doing, but at least I can share my tips with the viewers. And if they have questions, I'm happy to help them with any problems they encounter so that they can really give a good treatment to their loved ones. Yes, it is nice to be able to share this knowledge.
I really appreciate you. And honestly, ladies, don't hold back from asking Marjan. I've started to get to know Marjan a bit more over the past month, and she's really, really fun and incredible, but also very, very professional. So you've shared with me that next week, this is a little secret, you're actually fully booked. Are you back to massages? How is this going to work for you and for Marjan Massage?
It is a challenge, Angel. I mean, we have been given all the safety, regulations we have to apply, which is totally understandable because I want to make this a safe haven for my clients. So I will look like a doctor because I need to have like a jacket. I need to have something to cover my hair, a mask, a shield, and gloves. And also my clients, they need to be completely protected. So it's going to be a challenge, but I know I can do it. And I also have told my clients that I can't take more than 3 a day now because in between the clients, obviously I have to clean the place, I have to make it sterilized again, I have to have a shower, I have to change my clothes. So it's all new. This world is completely changing at the moment, but I want to take this serious because I want my clients to be in a safe environment and that they can trust everything that I've implemented to make this as good as we can do.
Wow, that's very, very, very inspiring. And I really do appreciate that you're creating a safe haven, even though for you it's still challenging. So, Marjan, we don't have a lot of time. I know we could chat for hours. However, I'd like to use you as inspiration to any of the viewers who perhaps with these challenges that they have been faced, they're choosing to maybe give up rather than go for it. So what is your advice here to anyone who's going through something similar to yours that was stripped away from them and changed from the normal to a new normal and they have to adapt?
Well, I always think in curves. You go down, you hit rock bottom, and that normally gives you the strength to come up. Stay positive and don't dwell in any situation, but keep yourself busy. And like, I have learned so much from all the Costa women. I've had a great time with your challenges. I mean, we women have supported each other immensely in this crisis, in this lockdown. And I think you can ask for help and you can ask for support, especially with the Costa women. Without them, I would have been pretty miserable. But because we could, bounce onto each other, some ideas, we helped each other in this way, So I think this is the strength, our community.
I totally partake with that. Thank you, Costa Women and Ali, for creating all these events online that we've been able to attend to, even though on lockdown. Thank you so much for sharing your story and being an inspiration of hope to any women watching us who are not sure of what's their next step forward. Thank you, Marjan. We really appreciate your feedback here.
Thank you for having me. And also thank Ali for having me. It was great to be on your show.
Pleasure having you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Caddy. The lockdown does not make much difference to me. I have had locked-in syndrome since 1995. I have been locked inside my body for over 25 years. I have some questions that I want to ask you. Before the lockdown, were you happy with your life? Were you living the life that you really wanted to be living? Was it a life worth living? Were you merely making a living, or were you really living? Are you taking some time during this lockdown to reflect on your life? Do you ask yourself the question, am I where I want to be? Now the most critical question. After the lockdown, are you going back to the same old routine? Or are you going to live a much more vibrant life? I know what I am going to do. I am going to take life by its tail. I am going to get out there and will not let anything hold me back. I am going to continue living my life to the fullest. I am going to share my love with the universe, enjoy the planet and spend as much time possible with my loved ones.
After lockdown, I look forward to running on the beach, swimming on the beach, sunbathing on the beach, and lots of ceremonies on the beach. And did I mention the beach?
After the lockdown, I look forward to be traveling and working at the same time.
So for me, I'm really looking forward to getting back to staying in lockdown mode. And that's what I'm going to do after lockdown, is I'm going to stay in lockdown mode. So I hope whatever you're doing, you're enjoying it.
After the lockdown, I'm looking forward to change this into this. To jump into the pool. That's what I'm looking forward to. To swim 50 lengths and to feel on top of the world.
Anna, would you like to swim?
Yes.
Would you like to visit family?
Yes.
Would you like to get together with friends?
Yes.
Would you like to go to the playground?
Yes.
Would you like to go to school? Yeah. Okay, so this is more or less kind of what we'll like to do after the lockdown.
So here we are. We actually did it, Ellie. Even though far, we still managed to put people and situations and interviews together.
I know, and it's been an amazing experience because we've actually got to meet and connect with women that maybe we wouldn't have seen before. So I think it's fabulous. It's brought the whole of Spain and Costa Women together. And that would be fabulous to carry forward as well, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And in fact, why do I always say absolutely? I really liked also that we discussed to bring in the children, because I feel, and kudos to all mothers who have been homeschooling during this time, you are awesome. But also, why not bring their art and their creativity, right? Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
The kids' creativity in, and also the inspiration, the clapping. I think the journey has been really emotional for all of us. We kind of portrayed maybe a tiny sample of what we've been going through in all these weeks now.
Yeah, I think everybody has felt something that we've shared within this episode, and hopefully some of the positivity that we've shared as well, because I think that's come across in a big way. So it's been good.
Indeed, and I think when we were also receiving the entries for the Costa Women videos, be it the clapping or what they're going to do after the lockdown, or the crafts, and even Kathy's videos, so touching and so inspirational, I felt like we're not alone. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things at the moment, since the feel and the hugs and the touching, actually, really, the connecting with people, like feeling each other close, that we can't have, but we still managed, I believe, to bring that in, to manage to connect people, as Costa Women does absolutely fabulously well.
Yeah, and if any of the women out there are feeling isolated on their own, please do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you and see if we can find somebody that's not too far away from you, so that when we can actually get together for a cup of coffee, you can grab that person and go and get a coffee and start connecting again.
Definitely. Ellie, I wanted to ask you, if there's any viewers at the moment watching this and they are not in Costa Women, what can they do?
So they just go to costawomen.com, and it's completely free to join. And most of the events that we host are free. At the moment, obviously, all of those are online. But it would be great to get lots more women joining us from wherever they are in Spain. We have 28 different locations, 128 different nationalities. So you don't have to be British or Maltese to join us. You can be any nationality. And we'd love to welcome you to costawomen.com.
Ali, today we're going to close with some prizes, because there have been entries, but we are not going to forget anyone. So would you like to introduce the prizes from your end first?
Yeah, sure. So the prizes from my end for the adults are these water bottles that we had produced for Costa Women, and Make It Happen theme obviously comes through. And I'm happy to give those to all of the women that have entered into the adult part of the competition, just to say thank you for joining us and joining in. So please send me your physical addresses so I can post them out to you when the post office comes back online again.
Perfect. And from my end, the winners of the art competition, they were actually siblings. They were the daughters of Gemma Bjord. We can mention the parents' name. I feel that's much safer. So these are their artworks. You are going to get Be Always the Wow version of yourself t-shirt from myself, because I feel that we should empower women from a very, very young age. And you are right on track. All of you are. But I was really touched by their creations. I think they're adorable. There was that car map. There was that car itself, the little cloth and the design. I mean, kudos to the mom for the patience, but also well done to all the kids and all the moms. And maybe you also can thank the service providers that have been of huge support in Spain, Alice.
No, sure. It'd be great to thank the Guardia and the ambulance workers and the doctors and the nurses and the post office because they've still been delivering mail, and the rubbish collectors who have had to pick up our rubbish every single day. It's just been amazing. So thank you so much for carrying on working and keeping a smile on your face.
All the supermarket staff and the pharmacy staff, we literally could not have done it without you, everyone who stocked a shelf. So if you know anyone or you're related to anyone from who we just mentioned, hopefully we didn't forget anyone. We did not forget you, parents who have been homeschooling. So thank you all, and do share our message from Costa Women as a thank you during this challenging time. You've been really our rock, all of you.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have learned some new skills along the way, which has been fabulous too. So well done you. If you've learned something new that you didn't know before, well done.
I think for me, what I have learned is that fear is part of growth. So if you've been feeling afraid, that is okay. I think we can all say that we did not know we are able to get through this, but we have. So you've all made it happen.
Absolutely, you have made it happen, and we're very proud of each one of you. So thank you for making it happen. I've certainly learned more about the community and how women have really stuck together and connected with other ladies that they may never have met before, because we've done all of the events online. It's been fabulous to actually meet over the computer screen other women from other parts of Spain. So thank you very much for joining any of the events that we've done.
I think what we've realized, Ali, at least from my end as well, how important community is. I think it's one of the things, especially us women, we do need to connect. We can't not connect to each other. And with, your talent and your skills, you put so many events out there. There were so many available in so many different topics and areas. And to feel part of something during this time was very, very important, at least for my mental health, and maybe even for you women watching this. So honestly, thank you, Ali, from my heart. It's been a real good, steady and kind of new normal to have in our lives during this challenging time. So thank you.
You're welcome. And also, I mustn't forget the women that have actually been cooking for and collecting money for people that are homeless or they've lost their jobs and they haven't got money to pay for food. They've done an incredible job. The amount of meals that women have been cooking and delivering are fabulous. So to all the women that are working in charity too, we mustn't forget you.
Wow, I think skills that we did not know we had have just, been needed. We showed up, we filled in that gap, and now holding hands together, even if virtually, we realize that we can all make it happen. And as the theme of this program is always running, well done to all of you. You did make it happen, even during these challenging times. You are awesome.
And it's been amazing to hear the stories of women like Zoe, what women go through that we don't necessarily hear about as well, and the support that you can get if you are suffering from domestic violence during this time. So thank you, Zoe, for sharing your story, and also how women can get some support and help too.
Fabulous. I felt that was important. When we were, discussing the content of the program, we felt that it was important to bring that in as well, because it is a reality. We can't continue always painting it pretty and put, the mask on our face and paint a smile, but the reality is that as it is. So I felt we wanted to bring more realness, because times are tough. And if you have fear or if you're going through something tough, please know that us as Costa Women and Ali as our founder, she is here for us and she can connect you with the right people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't be alone.
So that's a wrap. We have managed from far, but still connecting. Thank you, Ali. It's been really interesting. But yes, strong and still powerful. Yeah, we actually did make it happen, even during a pandemic. We got this.
Absolutely. We've got this.
Thank you, and see you on the next one, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Introducing Lobster, Spain's only all-in-English mobile service. We know what you like and what you don't. So we created something that you'll definitely like. Lobster, the Spanish mobile service that's all in English. We've tailor-made everything for you with unlimited calls and texts and great data deals too. So whether you're in Spain or back in the UK, you can talk and talk and talk and talk without limits, and browse for longer. We've made it simple. Joining is easy. We give you full control of how much you spend, so there are no nasty surprises. Just pay month by month for our full coverage network. Change your plan whenever you want. Even park your number if you're away from Spain for a while. Manage your account online or talk to our British team. We're totally flexible. Visit lobster.es now or call free on 1661. Lobster, Spain's only all-in-English mobile service.